From the east to the west, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. It is the first day of March Madness as well, too, so I know everybody's really excited. Everybody's ready to get their brackets in and all that good stuff. You got to get your bracket in, because if you don't get your bracket in, then you ain't going to be in the madness. You know, you might have to wait a little bit, but we do have ourselves a very, very good day of basketball, and we've already had a great day of basketball as we begin. We already do have some finals as well. We just had a classic first 2 games to start the day. Both games were decided by 2 points or less. West Virginia winds up losing to Maryland, losing that game 67-65. Maryland moves on, and they'll be playing the winner of Alabama, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. But we know that they're pretty much moving on to play Alabama, because at the end of the day, come on, we know that the 16 seed winning, that's really, really once in a lifetime type stuff. Then you have Furman, who comes in here getting a monster win over Virginia today. They actually beat them on a last-second shot as well, too. Terrible clock management, things of that nature by Furman, is by Virginia as well, too. So that's what did them in. And then Utah State, I feel kind of dumb about this one, because I was really on the wall about this one between Missouri State and Utah State, and I felt like Utah State going into the tournament was a really tough team, could be a Sweet 16 type team, and I thought that Missouri just might not have enough for them today. Missouri absolutely looked good in that spot. They wound up winning that game by 11. So that's your first 3 winners of the day. So if you have Missouri, Furman, and Maryland, you are feeling good, feeling great. I know that I have all 3 of those teams in one bracket that I have here, so I'm all right. I'm good. You know how it goes. So pretty much let's go ahead and jump into it. 30 teams in 30 days. And we have today, the last year's pretty much the leader all year long until the final game of the season. And that's going to be the New York Mets in the NL East. So, you know, the NL East, we got some pretty good looking, a pretty good looking Mets team this year. I can say that the Mets are a team that I feel like can make some things happen. They did go ahead and do what teams do when they're ready to go ahead and move on down the road and things of that nature. They went ahead and got themselves a Hall of Fame pitcher to go with another Hall of Fame pitcher. So, you know, this team is looking very, very good. I can't even deny it. They have Brandon Nimmo, big time sign back for them. They also have Starling Marte as well too. This is at the top of the lineup, and then they got one of the best shortstops in baseball in Francisco Lindor. Francisco Lindor is looking to have another really, really good season. Pete Alonso, one of the hardest hitting players in the MLB, projected to hit 37 home runs, go for 109 RBIs. Possibly he could be on your MVP list as well too. And it looks like he's going to work a lot of walks this year as well too. So Pete Alonso at first base is always a dangerous situation. You got Jeff McNeil, second baseman. Jeff McNeil, I think he was an all-star last year. So, you know, that's pretty good. He quietly. Then you got Dan Vogelback. Dan Vogelback is like a pop culture legend in a sense. Big Dan Vogelback. A lot of people are going to probably get really excited about him. He's a guy that could be an X factor if he can be good. And you got Eduardo Escobar, third base, Navarez, their catcher, batting ninth, and then you have Canha, the other outfielder, who probably will be platooning as well too. So you got Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, and then after that, it just pretty much turns into average starting pitching rotation. Cody Singa is new kid on the block. He looks to probably be a guy who can do pretty well. He has a projection of a 3.88 ERA coming up for next year. Also, they have him paid to strike out 160. Also, Carlos Carrasco, the former Indian, the leukemia survivor as well too. Carlos Carrasco, he pitches with somewhat of an edge, so you can't expect him to be like this ultra super pitcher because of his situation, but he should be a very good vet moving forward. And then David Peterson, a guy that literally kind of ran into some issues last year, but he's still a really good pitcher, and he has an ERA that says that he's projected to be the third best in this starting five. So, you look at the Mets group here for the pitching rotation. The Mets have everything that says that they could win a World Series this year. They have everything in place to put them in position to possibly win a World Series as well too. So pretty much we have a very, very fun season coming up for the Mets if everything works out. And with the Mets, it's always about health. Let's just keep it real. It's always about the Mets' health. If the Mets are healthy, they're going to be good. If they're not, then it's going to be a crapshoot on what this team's going to be. And really, it all comes down to pitching for the Mets as well, too. So that's something that they do have to just put in play, that everything has to work in a certain way for this Mets team to get exactly where they want to be this year. But it should be a season that calls for a lot of very good moments for this Mets team. I know that the team from Queens is going to be getting everybody very, very excited about what they can do moving forward. So, I'm excited. I hope that they're excited and Flushing right now as well too. Hopefully when I get to New York this year, I can go ahead and watch a game there. And what I'm going to do here with this team is I'm going to go ahead and say this about this Mets team. And just give me 1 second. I'm getting us the win-loss total right now. I'm getting it set up for us. So, man, but I just can't believe these tournament games, how good they are. Charleston, a team that I'm very heavy on playing right now, they're up as well, too. So if you have Charleston, so we possibly will get a 12-13. The only reason why I kind of didn't do Furman was because I had Furman on other brackets, but today I threw up Virginia with the idea Virginia was going to bust out everybody and not be the obvious loser today, because there was a lot of people that took Furman, and Furman looked like a very attractive play for everybody. Same thing goes with Charleston. So I keep saying these 12 and 13s this year are very tough. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you're a 5 and a 4, they kind of put you in a bad spot this year, to be honest. So, that's how I feel. But back to this subject in hand, and let me go ahead and finish up this subject. And you know what? I'm going to keep it way too funky right now. They have 94.5 wins set up for this Mets team. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. The Mets can win 100 games again this year. I like them over 94.5. I think the Mets border around 98 to 100 wins this season. So that's where I see the Mets at. Hopefully they can go ahead and get that home. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, but that's that from there. All right, so pretty much let's go ahead and look into those Bruins. And the Bruins start the tourney today. And the Bruins, literally this one right here, the Bruins are a 17.5-point favorite today. This is a game that, really doesn't present any ideas of a team actually going out there and upsetting the Bruins today. But Asheville is still a really good team, so you can't take anything away from that team. But it's really going to be just a try-hard effort, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And that's how I truly feel about that spot. And also, if you need updates on scores real quick, we got 41-26, Alabama over Texas A&M Corpus Christi. You have Kansas with 2:40 left to go in their game, up 23 against Howard. And then you also have Charleston, my favorite play today, up 5 against San Diego State with 7:51 left to go in the first half. So if you need scores, there goes some scores. All right, so pretty much UCLA is starting their journey And a lot of people have UCLA picked to win the national championship or at least make the Final Four. And UCLA literally rode a 12-game winning streak into the tournament and wound up getting that streak broken by Arizona. So the thing about UCLA seems to keep piecing together double-digit win streaks this year, and that's pretty much was their whole season, except for the start of the year. So pretty much I'm looking at this one right here, and I say to myself that, this is a very, very intriguing game for UCLA because they have Asheville, a team that really won kind of a tough conference, but they ended their season very well. And they're confident coming into this one. They've won 9 in a row. And before that, they had actually won 9. They had won 9 in a row again right before that. So all in all, in their last 18 games, the last 20 games, they're 18-2. So this is a remarkable record when you think about them coming into this game. So this isn't going to be any walk in the park for UCLA. Let's just keep it honest here. You know what I mean? UCLA is going to have to really go in here and put it on the line. And they're going to have to shut down Drew Pember. Drew Pember is a guy that won the MVP of the Big South, and he's a guy that is literally a walking bucket, and he really does fit the bill. You know what I mean? The guy's 6'11" and he's versatile. You know what I mean? So you have to look out for guys like this. And he led the nation in free throws made and free throws attempted this year. He scored 29 points in the game against Campbell, which was crazy, but he also had 29 against Charleston Southern, and he had 22 free throws that day. So this guy is tough to deal with. Then you also have Tyjon Jones, who's going to be tough to deal with as well too, and AB, who should be a very critical player when it comes down to that X factor for him tonight. So they got 3 guys, but Pember will be the main subject for this Bruins defense tonight. And when I look at the Bruins coming into this game, they got 4 guys averaging double figures, and one of them's out. That's going to be Jalen Clark. But they got David Singleton, who's almost averaging double figures, and Bone is right up there as well, too. But then after that, you get a big drop-off when it comes to the scoring. So I feel like tonight you're going to have to get some big efforts from Dylan Andrews, and you're going to have to get some big effort from Will McClendon as well, too. So, if Will McClendon gets his game time, and I like Mac Eating tonight, I think he needs to be ready for a big spot as well tonight. So we're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how it shakes out. But I feel like UCLA should be able to run away with this one. Not totally just beat the brakes almighty off of them, but, pretty much there it is. They'll make sure that they have a nice, thorough game with them tonight. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this to my top games of Day 1 March Madness, top games. So pretty much we got 3 games here that I got in review for you guys that are going to be coming up later on today and actually in the next few hours. So all these games actually start almost about 4 o'clock, and then one of the games does start pretty much in the late hour of college basketball as well too. So I'm looking at this situation right now, and I'm hoping to see if we do have ourselves some good winners. And I'm over here very high on the Howard game. Me and my clients are riding that one right there. I'm just trying to get the cover. I just need the cover, and it looks like we're going to miss the cover here as well. So Howard can't hold on for the cover. They absolutely got demolished in the second half and late in this first half. So, hey, it is what it is. We'll have to go ahead and chalk that one up as AL. So it is what it is at the end of the day. But let's go ahead and jump into our March Madness top games for today for me. And up first, we got Auburn, number 9 seed, and then we have Iowa, number 8 seed. And this is going to be a team that's 19-13 going against a team that's 20-12. And pretty much this is a 50-50 spot. So whoever wins. I don't want to see them say this was an upset. When it's 8-9, it's not an upset. When it's 7-10, it's not an upset. When it's 6-11, it's not an upset. And from now, when you look at it, 5-12 isn't an upset anymore either. So when you get down to about 4-13, those are upsets. 3-14, those are upsets. 2-15, that's an upset. And 1-16, just literally like hope and pray. That's what you're really going through when you get that one. So pretty much with Auburn and Iowa tonight, you have a game that has two teams that literally kind of had identical seasons, but I would say Auburn was a bit better because Iowa lost a lot of games to a lot of middling or bad teams this year, in my opinion. Losing to Nebraska and then losing certain games like getting blown by 20 by Northwestern. I know Northwestern wound up finishing second, but come on, man. And then they got put out in the tournament by a losing Ohio State team this year. Just wasn't good, in my opinion. I'm usually confident in Iowa, but I just didn't like what Iowa brought to the table this year. They had a stretch where they had lost 3 in a row, including losing to Eastern Illinois. Eastern Illinois was nowhere near the tournament this year. So, it's just like a lot of things you look at with this team. They give up a lot of points. And it's just a lot of things that you don't like about Iowa coming into this game. So can you really trust them with your money? And then you got Auburn. You have Brucey Pearl. Brucey Pearl has been here before. But you look at Auburn's situation here, and you look at Auburn since January 25th, they haven't been good. Okay, this team has 4 wins since that point, but they did a lot of heavy lifting earlier in the season. So them making the tournament was more about what they did in the first half of the year. And it was really good what they did in the first half of the season. They were absolutely a team that you had to take seriously. But looking at it now, and this team being 4-8 here in their last 12 games since January 25th, it's just like, well, can we trust them? Well, yeah, you can, because they had a game against Arkansas, and Arkansas was a little bit more desperate than they were. So Arkansas pulled out a very close victory. But what impressed me most with Tennessee was with Auburn, was winning at the end of the year, winning by 9 against Tennessee after they had just played Alabama in a really gutsy game that Wednesday night. So, and then the way they bounced back in that Alabama game, getting beat by 32. I feel like this team really knows what time it is when it comes down to, should they be here or not? And I think that Auburn can, when you really look at this and know that it's a 50-50 game, you like Auburn a little bit more because you know that they got the grit and grind to really win this game. And Johnny Broome, 14 points a game, that should be something that's helpful there as well too. We got Wendell Green Jr. as well, who struggled against Arkansas but had a great game against Tennessee. So if you can get these two going today, I think things will work out in the right direction. You got 4 double-digit scorers on this side, so there's a lot of things that just get you excited about Auburn when you get into this game. But it's a close game. I can't play like this is a walk in the park for Auburn, because it's not. This is a natural 8-9 game. It's really pick a side, because Iowa does have the best player on the floor in Chris Murray, and that's Keegan Murray's brother. So, twin, and it's his twin too. So, pretty much he'll have all eyes on him. And Rebecca, who had 20 in the game against Ohio State, he'll be somebody that's going to be getting a lot of looks today as well too. And so pretty much this is going to be a good game, man. It's going to be a great game, but I have Auburn taking care of their business today in this spot. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, but I do like Auburn today in this spot. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the next game that I have up for you guys, and this is going to be Duke and Oral Roberts. And Duke comes into this game as the 5 seed, and Oral Roberts is the 12 seed. And when Duke is anything lower than, say, a 3, it's really hard to trust Duke. And when you have a team that's 30-4 like Oral Roberts, who's been playing absolutely great basketball, and they have not lost a game since 2022. Like they've been riding so high that they're literally undefeated right now in 2023. This team did not get enough press, but they had, other than Charleston, they had the most wins in college basketball. And yes, they did actually lose this year. I'm sorry, they lost to New Mexico by 7, but they didn't lose a conference game all season from what I'm seeing here. They didn't lose one game in conference, but the only game they played against a true top 10 team was Houston, who was number 3 at the time, and Houston absolutely took them to the woodshed. They beat them by 38. But the thing is, though, at the end of the day, though, They were only 2 games in, and come on, man, they had just lost to St. Mary's to open up the year. St. Mary's was ranked all year, and then they get a win over John Brown, and then you got to play Houston after you play John Brown. So it just, you're looking at this. They lost to all teams that were in power conferences or or almost power conferences this year. So they lost to an AAC team. They lost to they lost to two Mountain West teams, and then they lost to a WCC team. So, everybody else got absolutely flambasted by Oral Roberts. So, Oral Roberts has played some great basketball. And what gets me excited about this team is that they went 18-0 in conference play. They know exactly what it takes to be that team right now. And I think that Duke has to understand that they are in for today. This isn't let's just go ahead and pick on Duke and move on down the road. Duke has won 9 in a row after losing 2 in a row to number 19 Miami and number 8 Virginia at the time. And pretty much they went on an absolute roll right after that. And then they absolutely had a very dominant performance in the tournament as well, too, ACC. They dominated Pittsburgh, who advanced the other night, and also Miami, who's in this tournament as well, too. And then Virginia, who just lost today. So they beat 3 tournament teams in the process as well. And really, they beat 4 out in their last 4 out of 6 games were against all tournament teams. So Duke does get a lot of love coming into this game. And Duke does have the best player on the court in Filipowski. Filipowski is a guy that is going to be able to really make the Oral Roberts really be accountable today, be basic. He's 7 foot tall from Westtown, New York, and he's been killing it. And he had a monster game against Virginia to win that ACC title. Also had a big game against UNC. Also had a big game against Pitt. The guy's been absolutely incredible these last few games, to be honest with you. He's actually been averaging almost 20 points in the last 4 contests. So he's stepping up his game. He's doing some big things. He's also rebounding the ball very well too. So this is very intriguing for Duke. They do have a guy that they can depend on. And Jeremy Roach, who had an awesome game against Virginia, closing out that championship, dropped 23. So those are going to be key players in the mix for Duke today. But I truly do feel like this 7'5" center that they have on Oral Roberts' side is going to be the difference here. And this kid is really good. And Connor Vanover is a transfer as well, too. You guys have to understand that he did transfer into this school. So, 7'5", 227. This is going to be a problem today. And then you have Max Abness, who is just a monster, a beast. He's averaging 22.2, so he's the best scorer on the floor today, and he just dropped 26 against Northern Dakota. So we got some PTPers here. We got some guys that are going to be some names that they'll be talking about all day, but this is one of the best matchups of the day, if not the best matchup of the day when it comes down to a 5 and 12. But literally the 5 and 12s are probably the most 50-50s that you can get. VCU St. Mary's, 50-50. Come on, let's keep it real. This game, Duke Oral Roberts, 50-50. Drake, Miami, 50-50. And then you throw in the Charleston-San Diego State game, that's more 60-40 to Charleston because Charleston was really, really good this year. So pretty much let's see how it goes. Let's see how it checks out. But I do like Oral Roberts today with the big upset. I'm taking them today with the plus 210, and you can go ahead and take them with the plus 6.5 as well too today. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. This should be one of our better games, and I swear this line should be a lot shorter than how it looks. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out, and we move forward. All right, let's go ahead and talk about a game. It's not the nightcap because UCLA is the last game of the night, but this is the second to last game of the night, and this is going to be between Penn State and Texas A&M. Penn State coming into this one, they haven't been in the tournament in a while. Texas A&M had a short little break from the tournament as well, too, but Texas A&M has had a very good season where they found themselves as the number 2 team in the SEC this year, and quite possibly could have won that ACC title, the SEC title, if a few other buckets would have went their way. Now, this team coming into today's game, they are so on fire. They out of their last 13 games, they're actually 12-15. So pretty much they are playing great basketball. They came into the SEC tournament, and they actually had won 8 out of 10 coming into it. So they saved their best basketball there for the end of the year, because at the beginning of the season, they were kind of a middling even team. You know what I mean? Like, they had set up there, and they had already lost 5 games before they even got to conference play. And they were 6-5, and then they went on a nice little 7-game winning streak, and then they went 2-2, and then right after that, that's when they went 8-1. So they had a pretty good tournament. They got a really hard win over Arkansas, who brought everything but the kitchen sink. And then Vandy the next day, Vandy had upset on their mind, but Texas A&M wasn't having any of that. So they literally put Vandy out of the tournament with that win. And then they kind of ran out of gas against Alabama. Alabama was so ready for that game. So pretty much when I look at this situation tonight, you got the Aggies coming in here, and I really like what the Aggies got going tonight. And then you also have Wade Taylor, who's absolutely been killing it. He kind of had a bad game against Alabama, but he had a great games against Alabama, Arkansas, and Vandy to close the year out, because he actually dropped 28 on Alabama on the 4th of March. And then he came back around and dropped 18 on Arkansas, 25 on Vandy. And then he kind of got cooped up with only scoring 13 against Alabama. But the kid from Texas is looking good, and he's trying to lead this team to a big, big victory today. You also have Tyrese Radford, he hasn't been struggling, but he's been doing good enough these last few games. But they're going to need a little bit more from him, just like they did against Alabama back on the 4th of March. And we have to understand, this was a win for Texas A&M. So when they got these two balling at all cylinders, this team is really tough. But Penn State is the gritty one. They are so gritty and grimy. That's all I can say. This team went 10-10 in conference play. They had to at least get to the championship game of their conference, but they won so many good games this year. They won so many games that just put them over the top. They finish up the season literally winning 5 out of 6, and then they got 3 out of 4, and then they went 3-1 in the tournament, okay? They did everything that they had to do. They had lost 4 in a row at one point as well. And, this team just literally, they scraped into this tournament, but they got a big win over Illinois. They got a big win over Northwestern, and then they got a big win over Indiana. All 3 of those teams are in the tournament right now. So that's huge for Penn State. And this is what left Rutgers out as well, too. It's crazy because Rutgers actually beat them twice this year, but Rutgers lost some games that they shouldn't have lost. But when you start thinking about it, it is kind of bad that Rutgers did miss out, because they did beat Purdue this year as well, too. But Penn State did enough, and I think that when it came down to it, they licked that Tourney run, and Rutgers was out after the first game. Penn State made it all the way to the championship. So that's the difference in it. But I think Penn State's a tired team. That's why it's hard for me to take them today. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and circle Texas A&M, because I feel like Texas A&M is playing out of their body this year, and it's just going to keep going. That's the whole thing. So with that, that's going to be a wrap on our top games today. And when I get back, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into the NBA tonight. We got the State of the Lakers, and then we're going to jump into the NBA Thursday night. And then after that, we got Talkin Tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Cappers.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. Lakers last night, disappointing, losing to the Rockets, the worst team in the NBA. But you know what? The Lakers had excuses. LeBron's hurt. We know that. And you know what? Also, just simply AD is on a situation where they have to, where it works to where he has to be out for, where he's out for every back-to-back. So pretty much the Lakers were already in a bad spot to begin with last night, because if they have, it's easy. If you have AD last night, the Lakers win that game by 20 points. It's not really that hard. But since you didn't have him, you lose the game by 4 because the Lakers just couldn't make shots when they needed to make the shots that, you know, pretty much is that simple. And the Lakers, I felt like they were really tired from the night before, but that's no excuse because they have to win these games, man. They have to win these games. That's the whole thing. And when you look at this situation, you say to yourself, okay, the Lakers are in good shape. They're 5-3 this month, all right? And since the trade, when they brought in these guys, when they brought in the new squad, they, as we all keep saying, it's okay because this team is still 9-6 since that point, you know, so that's really good. You know, the Lakers, you know, winning 9 out of the last 15 games. And as I keep saying to everybody, you know, the Lakers are 32-26 since their 2-10 start. That would pose as one of the better records in the NBA if, say, they went 6-6 in the beginning. But you know, if a lot of people took the Lakers last night knowing that AD wasn't there, then, you know, it's you had to be ready for the Lakers to lose that game last night. It does not matter how bad Houston is. Houston actually had been winning games coming into that game. Houston had beat Boston, so their confidence was really high. And they had already won 2 games against San Antonio. So pretty much right now they're sitting at 4-4 this month. So the Rockets, you know, they're bad, but they're still guys that have to still play in the NBA next year. And if you look that bad, they're not going to be bringing you back to the NBA. Everybody likes to get those NBA checks, so they're going to step it up and play in these games because they don't want to hear from their cousin talking about, you ain't that good. You know what I mean? So the Lakers have a tough task ahead of them come Friday night. But, you know, good thing for them, the Mavericks are coming in here struggling a bit as well, too. Now, the Lakers last night, once again, another great team effort points-wise. They had 5 guys in double figures. Austin Reeves led all scorers last night with 24. He was a magnet at the free throw line. Dennis Schroeder had 16. He should have had a little bit more, but he didn't get as much time as he usually does. D. Russell came in there and got his 18 last night. Beasley had 16 last night. Vanderbilt had 13. But you needed more from Troy Brown, who's become like one of the Lakers' better three-point shooters as well. So that needed to help. And I think that, you know, Beasley shooting 12 threes last night, that's a bit unnecessary in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, geez Louise, bro, that's a lot of three-pointers. Like, literally, you living your whole life behind there. But the Lakers just three ball was not hitting like it did. But when you look at the numbers, you're like, the Lakers shouldn't have lost this game. The only thing that the Rockets dominated in was the field goals, 52.8, but the Lakers had more three-pointers last night, and they shot 37 free throws to 19. You're not supposed to lose games like that. I'm sorry, you're just not supposed to. But the key difference in this game, the Lakers got rebounded minus 15 last night, 51-36 last night. Got out rebounded on the offensive end, 16-11, and then what pisses me off the most, though, is the Lakers forced 17 turnovers and still lost this game last night. How do you force 17 turnovers and still lose? That's just, it's just, damn, you needed AD badly. That's the whole thing. You just needed AD badly in this whole back-to-back, and we're not going to play you on back-to-backs, and you're not even 30 yet. It's just a damn shame. Let's just go ahead and keep it real. All right, so it is what it is. Load management strikes its ugly head again, and looking at the Lakers schedule, I'm hoping that there's not another back-to-back for the rest of this month, because the Lakers really can't deal with that situation again. They need all hands on deck. If you're healthy, you got to play. So the Lakers' next back-to-back actually comes with playing Utah and the Clippers, and I think that what happens here is AD will probably play that one because it's just Utah and the Clippers. You know what I mean? And these are going to be two critical games that the Lakers need to have everybody in on. So, it's all good. The Lakers have Dallas is tomorrow, and then they have Orlando on Sunday to finish up this weekend. And then they have Phoenix Wednesday, and then they have a game with Oklahoma City next Friday, and then they wrap up this 5-game homestand against Chicago next Sunday. So there it is. Let's move forward from there. Okay, so let's jump into NBA Thursday night. Always fun. We have ourselves some really good games tonight. NBA Thursday night. And we have ourselves up first. We have the Pistons and the Nuggets, the most whatever game of the night, where people are just like, man, I don't know about this one. But you have the Nuggets coming in here as a 15-point favorite tonight, but right now it was at plus 14.5 when I put this up, but it's at 15 now. They're 46-23 coming into this game. Pistons 16-54. Funny thing about this game though tonight is you have a Nuggets team that's struggling, and then you have a Pistons team that's definitely struggling. Now, the Nuggets have lost 4 in a row after winning their first 2 games of this month, and had won 4 in a row, and actually had won 8 out of 10. And then now they are kind of struggling. They lost by 15 the other night to Toronto. They lost by 21 to Chicago. And it's just like, wow, like what's going on here? And then you lose by 8 to San Antonio. That's not good. And then they lost at home by 2 to Brooklyn. So pretty much this team is trying to bounce back, and they are on a 5-game road trip right now as well too. So Detroit seems like the gimme game, but when you're struggling the way that the Nuggets are struggling, no game is a gimme game. All right, so pretty much they're going to have to step it up tonight and get themselves back into the mix, in my opinion. I think that they need to really look at Detroit like they're a team that's ahead of them or something of that nature, because if they don't take Detroit seriously tonight, they'll probably get beat. Let's just keep it real, because it's a high line, it's a high spread, and everything says that they're going to burn up your money tonight. So I'm going to definitely go ahead and take the woeful Pistons, because I don't even need to tell you what's going on with the Pistons. You guys know what's going on with the Pistons. This team is 1-7 this month. All right, they're terrible. It's that simple. They're 16-54. They have no hope moving forward. They've been blown out by double digits this month at least 4 times. So, this team is just going through the motions and waiting on Cancun. That's it. But they did have a good win over Indiana on Monday, beating them by 20 points. So they'll have some confidence, because their last home game, they won by 20. So they should come back into this one tonight ready to play, especially after losing by 20 again the other night. So I do like the plus 15 on the Pistons tonight. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so we have ourselves the Kings and the Nets tonight, and the Kings won a huge game last night against the Bulls. We had that covered as well too, because the Kings and Bulls were a part of our Super High Five last night. Once again, De'Aaron Fox just keeps on adding to his great season with another buzzer beater, and he literally brought them back from the brink of losing last night. They were down 5 late in that game as well too. So that was pretty big for this Sacramento team moving forward because they increased their lead in the Pacific by a game and a half. They're now 41-27, and they're just sitting outside of that number 2 spot as well too. So Memphis, watch out. Here comes Sacramento. Sacramento hasn't been to a playoff since 2006, and they're trying to go ahead, and they're literally going to break that record this year. They only have so many games left in the season. Yeah, we have 68, 69 games. That guys have already got to 70 games. Most teams only have about 12, 11 games left. So, it's that time. You know what I mean? And they are balling this month. They are 5-2, and they just are playing just lights out basketball. And De'Aaron Fox, you just are happy for him. 25.6 a game, 6.2 assists. That's just incredible numbers. And then Sabonis kicks in his 19 points with 12 rebounds. These guys are special, man. They are very special. And Malik Monk has just been a godsend. And once again, Keegan Murray is the difference. I told you guys Keegan Murray was going to be the difference. He may not win Rookie of the Year, but he was the difference. He's averaging 11.6 on the season with 4.6 rebounds, and he's shooting the rock at the 3-point at 40% right now. So, yeah, things are looking on up for the Sacramento Kings. Now, you got a Brooklyn Nets team that's kind of just going through the motions a little bit right now, and they got another good game here at Barclays tonight, but they are 5-3 this month. They just came off of fresh off of a loss, though, losing by 14 to Oklahoma City, but they took care of their business on that 5-game road trip, and they won on that road trip. They actually did win 3 out of 5. And so when you look at them this month, it's like you're really happy on what you see because they've been taking care of their business on the road all month this month anyway. So now they get to go back home, a place where they haven't lost at this month because they only played there once this month, and when they beat Charlotte by 16. So tonight they got Sacramento, and I think Sacramento is going to come in here a little bit too cute tonight. So I do like the under 238 is what it's went to. So I do like that number. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it checks out. All right, we move forward from there. Let's go ahead and jump into the Thunder and the Raptors tonight. The Thunder and the Raptors, this should be another fun game tonight. You got a Thunder team that is 34-35. They got a monster win last night, and they're just going to keep making it really, really hard for the Lakers because it's like Thunder go away. And Lakers is like, and the Lakers lose last night. They're 34-36 now. So when you look at the playoffs, you got this OKC team that everybody was like, they're not making the playoffs. They're not even going to do this. They're not even going to get past this point. And so now they're sitting over here, look at me now. I'm the number 9 seed. And they have the advantage over Dallas as well, too. So you have Dallas and Minnesota tied up. And if the Lakers would have won last night, the Lakers would have propelled themselves into a 3-way tie into that 7th spot as well, too. But I think that the Lakers are ready to make that big run on this next homestand to get them right where they need to be. So when I look at this, you have OKC, a team that a lot of people don't take seriously enough, but they are the top dog. Like literally, look it up. They're the best underdog in the NBA. But tonight, they're not. Tonight, being a dog is really, really right for them because they do have some injuries that are holding them up a little bit. But they are 6-2 this month. That's absolutely incredible, but they did get themselves some nice little wins over a struggling Utah team. Also, everybody knows Golden State's not the greatest road team, but they took care of their business here in this quick 3-game road stand. What saw them lose the first game by 31, then they come back and win the next 2 in a row, even though it's a fading New Orleans team and a really bad San Antonio team. But all in all, Oklahoma City has Toronto tonight on the road, and then they have Phoenix on Sunday. Then they got a back-to-back with the Clippers in LA, and then they have the Lakers in Portland. So they have 4 games on the road coming up after the Phoenix game on Sunday. So the next 5 out of 6 games will be on the road. So they do have a tough task because really this is their season right here. So this is going to be a very, very fun game in my opinion. And I think what happens here is that you have a Toronto team that's going to be up for it tonight, but the Thunder will be right in this thing as well too. So you got the Raptors, they're coming into this one 2-4 right now, and they are trying to stay afloat, trying to get themselves into this playoff mix as well too. So it is what it is, but I do like the number that I do like on this one is going to be this. It's going to be the I do like the over 231 here in this spot. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. And let's see how it goes, man. It should be a good game. All right, next up is going to be a fun one tonight. It's going to be between the Pacers and the Bucks. This one is kind of simple. We don't have to talk about it too long. Pacers, Bucks. Pacers are struggling. Bucks are hot right now, right? So you what are we talking about here? You know, you have a Bucks team that's pretty bad right now. And when you look at how they're doing in the division, you don't get excited about that either because you say, oh, well, it's a division game, but who cares? You know, at the end of the day, they're fourth in the division. Now, Milwaukee's already clinched the playoff spot. They're the first team in the NBA to clinch a playoff spot. So they're 50-19. They already got their 50 wins. They are 2.5 games up on Boston as well, too. It took them a while to catch Boston, but they finally got them. And so the Bucks want to just keep adding on to being the best team in the NBA, but the Pacers do want to spoil this thing. But the Pacers, you know, they're 3-3 this month. They had 1-2 in a row, and then they lost to Detroit and by 20. I can't trust this team tonight. I truly do think that, you know, the Bucks are playing at a really high level, and they know that they can't mess around tonight. They're 6-2 this month, and I think that they're going to just do what they've been doing. They've been crushing teams. They've been crushing teams at home lately. So pretty much they won by 22 earlier this month. They lost by 3 on a Saturday game to Philadelphia. Then came back around, won by 5. But they've only played at home 3 times this month. So this is a game where they want to really entertain their crowd because they went on a pretty crazy road trip those last 3 games, you know, fighting and everything like that. So, you know, the first thing you want to do is see your home fan. So I think tonight, I don't ever like to take spreads like this, but I think Milwaukee covers the 12 tonight. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. And that's where we're going from there. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the final game of the night and it's the final game of the night because we only got 5 games tonight. It's the Magic and the Suns. And this one right here is tricky. And it's tricky because a lot of people are probably going to be all over the Suns tonight with the idea the Suns should take care of their business. And because you have an Orlando team that's only 2-5 this month, and they just lost to San Antonio Tuesday night by 18. But, you know, San Antonio is playing their best basketball of the season right now. So it's things like that happen. But, you know, it is a little bit of a struggle right now for this Orlando team who usually plays pretty good at home, but they've lost 3 out of 4 on that 4-game homestand that they had. So they're trying to get this thing right, and Phoenix is ripe for the taking, in my opinion. I think Phoenix is a team that you can really go in here and you can challenge them tonight. You can really get what you want off against this team as well, too. I think that it's just going to be a game where you have to really put 2 and 2 together and tell yourself that, you know, you can't sleep on Banchero and what the Magic have done, especially against the top teams in the NBA. Like literally everybody that they played who's supposed to be a top team in the league, they've had a chance to beat them or they beat them. So, you know, I'm very confident in what I see with Orlando here. And I know, and I'm trying to go back to when they played the first time this year. I'm thinking that they played sometime last year because I know that they played each other and they actually, and like I already knew, the Magic beat them by 17. So, you know, in games like that, that probably wasn't a fluke situation. That night was Banchero had 20, but they had Cameron Payne playing, but Devin Booker was there, and Devin Booker was shut down that night. Devin Booker had 17 that night. He shot 6 for 19. So, you know, sometimes you just don't be up for certain teams. And it wasn't like that they were missing anybody. Everybody was there. Only person that was out that night was Chris Paul. So pretty much everybody else that's a big contributor to that team was there. And this was probably one of their worst games of the season. So I'm ready. And I love Orlando tonight with the plus 270. Let's go and let's see how it goes and let's see how it checks out. We move forward from there. All right. So with that, we're going to take another quick commercial break. And when I get back, we'll get into talking tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we are back, and it's time for Talking Tickets. So let's go ahead and talk them tickets, damn it. All right, so pretty much here we are. And Talking Tickets is, I always like to get on Talking Tickets, and pretty much and you guys can catch me in a little bit on the Mike Abadir show as well today. So I'll be on there that as well. So Talking Tickets, here we are. March Madness, pick 6, 67-1 are games that start over in the after about the 4 o'clock hour. So about 3:30, these games all start the second half of the day, pretty much. Okay, God damn it. All right. So pretty much we got Northern Kentucky with the cover that I like, plus 18.5. Then we got Auburn with the minus 1.5 today. Even though you can take them on money line as well too, but 1.5, it don't matter, either 125 or 110. It doesn't really matter. And then you got Texas A&M. I got them with the -3 today. I think that they win that game by 5 or better. And then we got Colgate plus 13.5 today in a spot where I feel like Texas will jump on them early, but then Colgate will figure out a way to make the game a little bit closer late, but they're not going to win the game. So here goes the tricky part. Oral Roberts is my other side, and you guys know that I gave out the parlay earlier today, the 2-teamer, 2 dogs if you need them, Oral Roberts and Charleston. Charleston's playing right now. So, Oral Roberts is there, and Oral Roberts at plus 210. Let's see if we can get this one home. Yeah, I'm going right at Duke. I don't care. I'm going right at the big enchilada. I don't care, okay? It is what it is at the end of the day. So I'm taking the plus 210 on Oral Roberts. And then we got Northwestern here in the early game in Sacramento before UCLA plays. And I got Northwestern advancing as possibly UCLA's opponent come Saturday afternoon. So there it is, 67-1, March Madness, late pick 6, day 1. Let's get it. All right. And then we have the 48-1 on the super high five today, plus 15 on the lowly Pistons, under 238 with the Kings and the Nets. And then we have the over 231 with the Thunder and the Raptors. And then we have the minus 12.5 with the Bucks today. And then we wrap it up with the Magic plus 270, 48-1. Let's get this bad boy home. All right. So there it is. There it is. I always thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are the absolute best. I know that this was a show that you guys could have said, you know what, Pop, I'm good off you today because I'm watching the tournament. But you guys, if you stay here and watched it with me, if you watched the replay, thank you very much. And hopefully I get you guys enough information to the point to where it's going to help you win today as well, too. So there it is. There it is. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm doing double duty. I'm going to have the Primetime Angles tomorrow. We're going to bring it out early tomorrow, though, for sure. And then I'll probably be going on about 11 o'clock. And then 1 o'clock, we're going to have the all in on no filter. So you guys be ready for that. So it's going to be just a cavalcade of great sports talk in the morning tomorrow. So you guys be ready for all of that. So I thank you guys very much once again for tuning in. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. And this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.